There had to be a more efficient way to run, but I discussed with my physical therapist, like, I don't like to run. I don't enjoy it. And I'm afraid of running on my recently healed foot. And so he recommended I see Dr. Hovey so that she can teach me a new form for running that has proven with less injuries to run longer distances and more efficiently. I was very skeptical because I have been in the Army for 14 years and I've always hated running, and I thought there's no way she's going to teach me something that's going to actually make me enjoy running more. So the running form she uses changed the way my foot hits the ground, but also which muscles I'm mainly using when I run. So instead of my feet going behind me and landing on more of my heel, it's changed where my foot hits the ground to where it's more of a mid-strike, and I pull up more with my hamstrings, which allows me to run with less effort because you're using more of gravity to help you fall forward a little bit, and all you're doing is pulling up your legs and letting them catch you.
So here that we see a pretty heavy heel strike, the things I want to note are that her knee of the landing leg is very straight and her toes are pointed very upward. This is indicative of a lot of quad activation, and also because that leg is behind, the hip is having to work excessively to bring the leg that's behind her forward. Here now we can see that she's adjusted her running form, that her midfoot is striking first. She's landing a little bit softer so she's not as bouncy, or there's not a lot of vertical movement, or sometimes in the running world we call that vertical oscillation, so bouncing up and down. So when I'm looking at her running form, I also see that she has a little bit of a trunk rotation. So if we look just right above her hips, you can see that her right hip is pointed more towards the side and her left hip is pointed more forward. Because of this variation, it causes the trunk to rotate, which will cause or potentially cause low back pain. Then when we compare it to the next side, you can see that both of her hips are pointed forward, which will decrease her trunk rotation and decrease back overworking. So the core is still working in both, but once again, we're trying to work more with efficiency so that we don't overuse the incorrect muscles. So when I'm looking here, I look at, so first I started the knee. So I can see obviously she's going to land on a heel strike. I see the heel about to go down. I go straight up to the knee. The knee is very extended. So because this is all a chain, I know that she's going to be overworking her quad. And because she's overworking this quad and that leg is so straight, her trunk is having to also rotate. So foot, heel strike is there, going up to the knee. It's extended, having to overwork. So now then I'm starting to cross over to the back leg. Now I can see that because that back leg is behind, she has more trunk rotation. In order to bring this leg forward, she has to overuse this hip flexor, which is also the quad. So she's going to have to flick that leg forward in order to bring herself, like propel herself that next leg up. So yeah, as I'm watching her run here, her arm swing is less, her stride length is a lot smaller. Her knee is, so she does extend the knee, but she doesn't land on an extended knee. So she hasn't fully accepted weight there. But if we like fast forward just a hair more, you'll see that as she lands, her knee is flexed. So she hasn't quite hit yet, but you can see as she fully accepts weight. So I watched the shoe compress a little bit. And as her shoe's compressing, she's fully accepting weight. We want to make sure that knee is bent. So you want to be a spring, right? So if you look at this versus an extended leg, if you land on an extended leg, you're like, it's like a 2x4, right? Just super stiff, and it's like a shot going up the chain. Here I see a spring. I can see that, okay, her ankle can work with her knee can work with her hip versus just one of those joints working.
Historically, after most runs, my knees would always hurt. And I know that I have a very old knee injury, but now when I run with this technique, my knee doesn't hurt, and neither does my recently healed foot, and my hips don't hurt.
So I want to make sure when patients are running that they are conserving a decent amount of energy, or they're just not using an inappropriate amount of energy. So sometimes changing your form over time will help you run with more energy, as well as be able to improve your speed. So conserving energy by using muscles synergistically or together versus just using one specific muscle group the entire time that you're running will help you distribute your energy appropriately and eventually feel like you have more energy because you're not overusing one specific muscle group.